what's going on, world? It's your boy at Big Game James _36. And this Big Games BS brought to you by Den Media Group, presented by TheHumidor.com. TheHumidor.com is the go-to website for all things tobacco related. One of my favorite places to go in the world. I love to shop. Love to shop there. And ABC Fine Wine and Spirits. They bring you my tailgates and a bunch of other different things that we do. Go to TheHumidor.com, type in Sports Den, check out. Get your extra 20% off on your cigars, your cutters, tobaccos, torches, all the different things that you need, boxes, humidors, whatever you need, you get 20% off when you shop at thehumidor.com. Just an overall great site. Right now, I'm currently inside recording from the greatest cigar lounge in the world, Goodfellas Cigar Lounge, where everybody knows your name. It's like Cheers, but with a little mob twist. And, it's a safe haven. We come in here, get a good drink, see some good talent, get some good cigars, vibe. It's on brand. Basically everything that I do or that sponsors my life are vices, and I love it. So this weekend, you got all three are in action. Florida's up at Tennessee. I don't know who Miami's playing. Some sisters of the poor. We'll find that out. I'll give a breakdown here. Florida State is playing Boston College Eagles in Tallahassee at Doak on Saturday at 8 p.m. on the ACC network. Please go check us out. And if you're in town, if you're in Tallahassee, please come check out the tailgate, Lot 19, the top of Lot 19. And we would love to we'd love to have you guys come out. We have special guests. We were able to get 100 tickets raised to be able to bring different groups. We got 30. It's the kids and their families. So we got 30 second graders from Oak Ridge Elementary School. We've got, I think it's the Gaston County Jaguars. We got the Canopy Oaks. Don't know what their football team. We're bringing their whole football team and their coaches and quite a few other people. We're coming and they're going to be my special guests at the tailgate. Come hang out with them, former players, a bunch of other different things. We've got brisket. We've got brisket, chicken wings, burgers, hot dogs, baked beans, macaroni and cheese, green beans. We got Capri Suns and juice for the kids. We got mixers. We got adult beverages for the adults as well. So come out, hang out. And I want to make sure we realize this. Everything from that tailgate goes toward doing things like this. And right now we're trying to get 100 tickets for next week's game for homecoming and a bunch of festivities. And Miles, if you can go ahead and pull up the main thing for that. Next week we'll be having on Thursday, September 29th, we'll be having Freddie Stevenson's premiere of his movie Trials of Triumph. Talking about just a very solid movie. Talking about hope and perseverance. Freddie's story is amazing, and he's the fact that he's been able to be as successful as he is now is an attribute to how he grew up and those things like that. That food, Timmy, that food is free for the kids. Adults have to pay. Again, none of that stuff. That stuff costs money, and people go to their own tailgates. I ain't rich. All I do is just give people opportunities. And again, so it's $40 for the tailgate. It's all you can eat, all you can drink, whatever. But and Freddie's thing will have some student athletes there, some former athletes. Hopefully, we'll have the original four that will be in attendance from Florida State. We'll have there's some things going on with it. Hopefully, Florida State continues to do the right thing. And by their former athletes, and it's got nothing. This is the admin stuff. That's the messed up side of sports is that you can have people who do everything right. Like I think Coach Norvell is doing a tremendous job, but then you can have the admin. And you have people. I think the president of Florida State is great. I think our new booster president, Stephen Ponder, is an amazing man. I think Mike Alford is an amazing guy, but I think somewhere lost in the leadership is some people who are under them that don't quite understand how things should be done. And so it's quite unfortunate. So but we'll see how those things go. But Freddie's thing, support it. There's a link on Mikanopi 1851 at Mikanopi 1851 on Twitter. You can purchase a $50. I think it's or just $40 VIP ticket, which just gets you early entry. You can go meet some of our athletes, sign autographs, do things of that nature, and then there's a $10 general admission fee, and that will get you in. The showtime starts at 7:30. There'll be some brief dialogue and discussion about the film, what went into it, and question and answers afterwards. But it should be a great time with all people. But and we'll talk more about that and then just some other things as the show goes on. But Thursday night, last week, I talked about Thursday night football was an exciting matchup between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Los Angeles Chargers. I love all the things that Amazon is doing. But before we get into that, click on that first link. Amazon, that one. Amazon now is, I think I want to say they paid $1 billion for the rights to air Thursday night football. Just Thursday night football. Not every NFL game, just Thursday night football. And I'm sure they're going to want to go more in depth into the streaming rights, which is still so funny when everybody was talking about how the NFL, like when the kneeling stuff was happening, they were talking about they're losing sponsors, they're losing stuff, and they just gain money. But Amazon right now, before I get into that, they're doing so well, and this is kudos to my guy. He is always trying to be in front. So he started selling books, right? So when the book game got a little bit congested, like he basically closed your Barnes and Nobles, your Borders, all these other kind of things for easy delivery of books and online. Then he created the Kindle. And then when he made the Kindle, Apple came up with iBooks and people were reading books from their phones. The market got saturated. He kept a little bit of a market share. He shifted to basically delivery, and Amazon's been killing the game. But now there's other companies like one that I partner with and a few others that are starting to come in and nibble at that and slowly growing because they could be able to, they're competing with prices and having guys be able to use their cars and other manners to be able to get you to your parcels. So now he goes to the streaming side, makes Amazon Prime, and in that Amazon Prime, they're going in, they bought the rights, and now they're going into college football. So the article is Amazon emerges as a significant college football media rights suitor. Big 10, Big 12, Pac-12 affected. So really media rights is how people are paying their bills. I don't think that they could go to the SEC because ESPN has their own thing. So with the Big 10 being in multiple, like NBC, CBS, and another one, Amazon is primed to do this, and this just makes Big 10 even more money. And with the Big 10 expanding west, they're on the East Coast as well with Rutgers and Maryland. The next move is to go south with more than likely Florida State. I just want people to keep an eye on that. That's interesting. They're putting things together, and I think the grant of rights will help keep the Pac-12 relevant because if they're willing to pay $1 billion, and I believe it's for 1 year, for the rights to stream NFL games, just imagine the kind of deal that they're willing to put together for the streaming rights of college football games. But the game in of itself was really, really good. Again, great camera angles, great intensity. The Pittsburgh Steelers lost to the Cleveland Browns, who are doing very, very well, considering since they got rid of Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield is the starting quarterback of the Carolina Panthers, who are defeated, and now they're seeing what I saw all these years. Because when you look at it, the Browns have a great tight end in whatever his name is. Ngoku. I call him the Black Panther. He's on my fantasy football team. He balled out. I got like 25 points. So shout out to M'Baku. And so you got a good tight end. You had good wide receivers. You have two good running backs. And yet you still were not able to dominate your division. Not your conference, but your division. And that's because your quarterback is great. I call him, he is a little bit better version of Johnny Manziel. But at least Johnny Manziel was cool. But now, to talk about, now you have decent quarterback play with Jacoby Brissett. We called him Brisket, who I don't even understand why the Colts got rid of him for Matt Ryan, because Jacoby Brissett probably lets you be more competitive against the Jags and win that game. The Colts suck. Matt Ryan sucks. But when you go back and you look at what the Pittsburgh Steelers have done, they got rid of iconic quarterback in Ben Roethlisberger, which ironic with what his off the field allegations were and what the off the field allegations are for potential starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns, Deshaun Watson. One was raped, one was getting massaged and possibly doing some weird, strange stuff that somebody could walk out of a room to. Not here to argue which one's better than the other. It's just odd to me. But you go from that, you draft Pittsburgh University starting quarterback in the first round, and then you go and you get one of, which I believe his name, Mitch Trubisky stands. Mitch Trubisky in Swahili is mid gonna still sell, because he is the epitome of mid. I don't understand how he has a job. Like, people complain about Jameis Winston, and they say things like Jameis Winston shouldn't be a starting quarterback. Jameis Winston has a 5,000-yard season. Jameis Winston is a pretty good thrower of the football. It didn't work in Tampa, and right now he can't stay healthy in New Orleans. Mitch Trubisky has barely thrown over 3,000 yards. And before you get on me and jump down my throat, they've only had one season of 17 games, so I'm not even going to go there. What is 3,000 yards over 16 games? That means you are averaging about 185 yards a game passing. That is not efficient as a thrower of the football. He's got a 2-to-1 touchdown interception ratio, but he doesn't have very many touchdowns. He is trash. He was trash in Chicago. He was trash when he was a backup in Buffalo. And for some reason, one of my favorite people in the world, favorite coaches, Mike Tomlin, is literally putting his career on the line for this mid-ass quarterback. And somebody wanted to argue with me, and they said that it was the offensive line play, it was the wide receivers dropping passes, it was this. And I said, so it's everybody else's fault except for Mitch Trubisky, is what you're telling me. Post it, show us this picture, because this is what I want people to know. George Pickens, who, if you don't know who George Pickens is, go look at my social media from the Combine. George Pickens is one of those great players that lets you know he's not here. He didn't go to college to play school. He went to college to play football. Doesn't sound like the most intelligent guy, but what he can do is he can catch the football. You can't say wide receivers ain't catching the ball when you got wide receivers doing shit like this. And this is on Minister Sports. It's got 3.2 million views. It's a great catch, but this one they added a little parody to it. It's a little fun. I mean, this is better than OBJ's catch. Woo! Oh no, this is the live catch. Like, you can't go and say that, oh my God, the wide receivers aren't doing their job. Well, you got rookie wide receivers in great coverage, not even doing back shoulder throws, but trying to catch this right here. And now this is what basically happened. Is it playing? Yeah. You caught that. That's what Mitch Trubisky's doing. Actually, I just saw put sporadics up by Chris. Chris, you want to come on? Because you actually, I'll read it, but Chris, you got to call me, baby. I don't know how to explain the news. You got the news. My dog Chris got some big news for us moving forward with some things. I told y'all big news and stuff is going to be coming out. And but if my dog Chris text me, I'll send you the link and we can get you on real quick if you want to come on here and share the news as you're listening to this. But Pickens is basically like dope. I wanted Pickens here in Jacksonville, but you can see Pickens very frustrated on Thursday night, right? Pickens did all the things that us dreadheads do when we're like uncomfortable in a situation. Like, he was rubbing his hair, twisting it, like just like he want to cuss, and he's trying to hold it back. But he's like, you got this sorry ass quarterback throwing this ball everywhere. I mean, and it was just like, it was one time the guy literally, the Browns guy, if he didn't get his foot, if he would have had a little, I don't think he could believe that Mitch threw that pass to him. Yeah, he was shocked. Because it should have been an interception in the end zone. When he actually stood in the pocket and threw the ball, he was actually decent. But for whatever reason, he wants to roll. And it goes back to what I said when he was first drafted. And I got in trouble. And what happens is people send emails. I said, why would you drafted Mitch Trubisky? And the Bears traded a lot to get Mitch Trubisky. Drafting Mitch Trubisky for that is like meeting a hooker off Backpage in Las Vegas and selling all your possessions and leaving your family to go move in with her. It's not going to work out. She's still a hooker. And that's basically what they did. But it was just Thursday Night Football, amazing. I love just the coverage that they all got that they're getting. I'm gonna read this breaking news real quick, and I'm gonna see if my guy Chris does want to get on though, because I really feel like he could probably more eloquently discuss this. Sporadics by Sideline Sports Network is going global. And Sporadics, if you don't know, so now I'll be doing 2 days a week at FSU specific coverage with Sporadics, and we have some other things that are coming on. It's already brought to you by iHeartRadio. The Sporadics by Sideline Sports Network will be featured nationwide and in 100 different countries. We are proud to be partnered with our network station, World Sports Broadcasting Network. Starting Monday, September 26, 2022 at 7:30 p.m., we will be live on multiple streaming services and 20 cable channels. You can watch us on Apple TV, Amazon Prime, Roku TV. Sporadics wants to show a special thanks to Sideline Sports Network for bringing such a huge opportunity to us and our fans. We appreciate each and every one of you. Go Noles. It is a huge deal. It is the first thing. Miles, can you text me this link so I can get Chris on? Just so I can send it to his phone.
Yeah.
It's a big deal. I guess you have to email it, however you got to do it. But it's a big deal. It's gonna spread out, and it just what that means. So if you know me, what this means is more opportunities for everybody else to get put on. So if you're on the team and if you're tired of the music producer all up in the videos, all up in the songs, the Suge Knight quote reference for people who don't know, it's not saying legitimately join death row, but like that's basically what we're providing is an opportunity to come make some bread. And there's some cats that we've targeted that we know we want to go after to be able to get more stuff. So sorry about that break in programming for that, but it does make sense with the talk of the things that Amazon is doing with TV. Shout out! I really love the Thursday Night Football coverage, and I'll get this link here shortly whenever it comes to. Okay, there it is. Whenever it comes to my StreamYard, and then we'll get Chris on, and we'll stop whatever we're talking about to let my dog flex. Because sometimes I believe you got to let a motherfucker know. So speaking of, Thursday Night Football and things of that nature and weird shit going on, basically this whole new genre of things are going is just basically coaches being messy.
That could be a segment.
It can be. And there's some things that I want to do. It's, we got the new company, if you didn't pay attention the other day, Alpha Male. We start with them in October. So I'm giving them a little bit of pub, go check them out because there's a lot of men who ain't feeling masculine. You don't feel that mojo and you're acting real catty. And this is what this is. This is basically the act of being catty. Reporting Arizona State staffers were leaking info to help opponents get Herm Edwards fired. Now, Herm Edwards is one of my favorite coaches. And Herm Edwards is old, very old school. And sometimes old people can be difficult to work with. They're curmudgeons. Oh, we got Chris. All right. Yeah. I'm going to get into the Herm Edwards stuff because that really, I like Herm. Let's get Chris on real quick. Chris, this is my guy, Chris, with Sporadics.
What's going on?
We don't need two of me, Miles.
Can y'all hear me good? I can't hear y'all at all.
Can you hear?
Got you now.
All right, cool. What's going on, bro? We can keep that up, Miles. Just keep the two pictures up.
I mean, not much this morning besides I'm waiting on the hose to go to my real job. But hose.
You waiting on the what? Now you got to realize we're not on your show. You're on my show. When you say it that way,
I got you.
It sounds a lot different, especially when I'm plugging Alpha Male Clinic. So, are you waiting on your hose, or are you waiting on a water hose?
It's a hydraulic hose for a machine that I work on. But So last night, the deal finalized with WSBN which is World Sports Broadcasting Network, which puts us on Amazon Prime, which you were just talking about, the way they cover the NFL. We're going to be on that same network channel. So we'll be on that one. We'll be on Apple TV, their World Sports Network broadcasting channel, Apple TV. Then Roku TV also has a World Sports Broadcasting Network channel. We'll be on that one as well. And then we'll be on 20 regular cable channels. No matter whether you have Dish, DirecTV, Spectrum Cable, Xfinity Cable, doesn't matter which one. Our show will be live every Monday at 7:30 and every Thursday at 7:30, and we'll actually be on television. And then that'll be spread across over 100 countries. Um, don't know all the countries personally, but supposedly at any given time we could have millions of people watching us. All talk about Florida State football. So it it's not just taking Spirit Addict global; it's taking what we talk about global. So if we're talking about Florida State football, then we've already got a pretty good fan base in Australia, which a lot of people probably don't know that. But because of our punter being from Australia, we already got a fan base there. They don't get to see much TV on it. So we're actually going to be streaming and being able to talk about it, so they don't have to wait so long to find out what's going on. We actually have a huge fan base in Moscow, Russia. Some people may be indifferent about that, but not everybody in Russia wants to go to war. So it's pretty huge news. And then the news that's coming, which I can go ahead and drop it, is just that's the TV part of it. So the iHeartRadio part of it is even like it's pretty cool as well, because um, so we'll be like streamed over our own channel on iHeartRadio. Therefore, I think it's like 183 sports channels that we'll be on, that we go live on. So even some live studios that are streamed to iHeartRadio, like let's say if you're in Orlando, for instance, you can put in you can put it on that station, and you'll actually be hearing what Spirit Addicts is talking about as far as Florida State sports go. So it's really big news. It's just happened like all at the last few minutes of yesterday. Um, WSBN was trying to get it out faster. Took them a little bit longer than they expected, so I went ahead and made the graphic for them, which they didn't know that I could do. So that's what they were waiting on, was a graphics team, and I said I can do it myself. And then I made it, and they were like, "Well, that's even better than what we were going to be able to make." So, sure, please put that out there. So, um, there's certain details to the contract that obviously we'll talk about offline, but it's all really big news for not just Spirit Addicts, not just for us that are connected, but for Florida State within itself.
So this deal right here will make. So it is arguably probably the biggest FSU news source now.
Yes.
Oh man,
by far.
So hypothetically speaking, because this is where I could bounce you. You're one of my favorite pilgrims. Nothing wrong with that. I mean, you're a good guy. I like you. If I'm on the sideline at, let's say, an FSU football game this Saturday, and I run into, I don't know, like an athletic director like Mike Alford, and I tell him like, hey, we're supposed to be doing this really, really big event for a homecoming off the love of a former no, and may or may not be getting riffraff. Do you really want somebody who has millions and millions of millions of listeners discussing what the issues are at not in the most positive light? That's probably something that's a flex that can happen, right?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Just making sure. All right. Because just making sure, because sometimes you gotta you gotta be humble, but you gotta let a motherfucker know sometimes. So, but at the same time, but that's great news, man. You've been working on that for a while. I appreciate you allowing me to be a part of it. iHeartRadio, World Sports Broadcasting Network, getting on TV. Does this mean we got to go into a studio, or are we still doing this streaming?
So for the first 2 or 3 shows we'll be streaming like we do normally. A studio's in the works. They're just trying to finish. They're trying to finish it all up. There'll be one, the Daytona Beach area, that we'll be working out of. So they just got to get it finished. They're trying to move on this so fast because it came up so late. You know, college football season has obviously been started, and I guess so WSBN didn't watch our show for the first time until like 2 weeks ago. So I give them a lot of credit because of how fast they jumped on it. But obviously they would have wished that they had all this set in place before the season started. But this is not how things go. The world's the world, reality is reality. So, but the first couple of shows we'll be doing it normal like we always do, and then it's going to be a pretty huge deal because then it's going to turn into, y'all know that we have. I don't know if anybody on your listeners, but we have another guy named Taylor from Norvell Central. He'll actually be able to be on the ground in Tallahassee and actually interviewing players and interviewing coaches as they come in and out because we got all the media credentials that we needed as well. So it's fixing to go from 0 to 100. Like a lot of people, accused Spreadex of being a mom and pop's operation, and so I took that to heart. I took that personal. So I decided to land the biggest media deal in Florida State history.
Well, there it is, and kudos. And are you coming? You'll be in town this weekend?
Oh yeah, I'll be there.
All right. Well, we'll be at the tailgate. We'll cheer it up. We'll talk a little bit more, and we'll talk some trash, man. But I appreciate you coming on here, fleshing that out, talking about it a little bit, and giving more of the ground level take. And I can't wait to hear more information about what it is and where we're going to move forward. So that's awesome. Now that's one of the great things about being partnered with the right people, guys. You got to, and that's one of the good things about social media and going out here and doing things the right way. You never know who you're going to meet. Let me be honest with you. We met. You said you met at my tailgate, Notre Dame, right?
Yep.
So we met. Not even going front with you. Don't really remember who I met that day. I was drunk on moonshine. But
yep.
We got connected. This is how we got connected. I'm gonna talk about this because so many people have so many things to say about name, image, and likeness. How we connected was through. I've told people the story about my path through name, image, and likeness. I have a good friend who passed. Literally, I found out about his death while I was at my great uncle's, my grandmother's last brother's funeral. A guy named Aaron. And I met Aaron, aka who some of you trolls call Hot Wheels. We laugh at trolls. Like the fullback is why I call myself the fullback, because that was supposed to be a troll. 50 Cent chat that I helped build from the ground up. We laugh about that. And but he called himself that. He was a very good attorney and he had a disability. But he wanted to get in the name, image, and likeness because yes, he saw the capitalist part of him, but he also saw an opportunity to be able to help men and give them representation, give them 360 representation. They get in trouble, they got an attorney. We can negotiate contracts. We can put money in these guys' pockets. My man died, and so did the dream. I had no intentions of getting in the name, image, likeness. I'm extremely busy. I like what I do, and also like even in performance training, which I'm really good at. And Miles can attest to this. You got to pay me money to get me out of my bed. So I wasn't going to bring anything else on that is just a passion project because I don't like working. I like doing what I do. So Mike comes to my cigar lounge, which I guess, yeah, I do the cigar lounge that we're in right now. And he talks to me and it's literally, Mike does not know. Me and Mike met shooting guns right before Thanksgiving. Mike did not know my friend. Mike literally gives me the exact same vision that my friend gave me. And I said, well, and I don't believe, I'm not an atheist, I'm agnostic. I know there's something that created all of this stuff and there's something ties us together. I don't know what it is. Could be aliens, but I'm not sure if it's what's in that book. But I do know that there's a higher power. That let me know that something connected that. And then through that, that's how I met Chris. Was it March maybe?
Yep.
April. And a lot of these things have been moving forward, moving very, very fast. So I say the NIL thing to say this, is that we connected by name, image, and likeness. So if you don't think we're coming in to kick people in the teeth and to show these young men and women, and I want to emphasize women, how to make money, how to control their brands, how to be able to become bigger, then you got another motherfucking thing coming. I don't care what anybody, I'm telling you this telling everybody this: you can try to stop it, but it's not going to help you, and it's only going to make it worse. And to quote one of my favorite guys from The Wire, Marlo, the price of a brick just went up. So you better figure it out. But again, it's great news for obviously for Chris, for myself, but it's also great news for Micanopy 1851. It's also great news for anybody that's associated with it. So Miles, you might get a job. Other cats, you can go ahead and take Chris off. Chris, we'll chop it up later. And also that just means we're going to be able to create more unique content. So he's back. But anyway, I got to talk about other sports, Chris. Like I gotta talk about other shit. Like while I have these sponsors, I have to get the check that I actually have. So yeah. Hold on. Oh Lord, that's crazy. But on to another note, that kind of makes me not even want to talk about Herm. Bottom line is people fucking Herm Edwards, and I'm tired of y'all fucking black coaches. Like, wait a minute, that's probably not the best segue. But yeah, so like they did the same thing to Tag, and this is what I mean. And this isn't a Tag apology post either. What I mean by this is that I remember people talking about, you know what? We'll stick with this. I remember people talking about Tag and saying ludicrous shit and writing it in message boards and things like that. Tag sucked at his job. But you don't, it's like I talked about Ray Lewis. You don't need to put struggle hot sauce on an already good story. You don't need to put more asinine stuff on something that's already asinine. Like he's already bad. So to say shit like, okay, well, he was calling the offensive plays. Well, he was calling the defense. He was calling the special teams. It's fucking impossible to do that on a high school level, let alone on a college level. Like, have you ever watched a game? That's why you have coordinators. It's hard enough to call this from the sideline, let alone not in the box. So, but what happened was, but people were writing this. Quote unquote reputable people were talking about this. And it's just like, yo, what the entire fuck? But what was happening was people who were close to the situation were leaking information. And that's a way to, that's a death by 1,000 cuts. I'll give Mike Norvell this. Mike Norvell has a really, really good tight-lipped organization. You ain't talking to Mike shit. Mike probably told them motherfuckers, you say some shit and I find out, I'm going to fire the fuck out of your ass. You'll never have a job. But the wildest part of this is that there were some talented guys that were pillow talking. Kendall Browse being one of them. Even though I call Kendall Browse, and I still believe Kendall Browse is a hoe. You can tell him I said that. He can't beat me up. But Kendall Browse is a hoe. But Kendall Browse is a hoe for what he was doing and how he was telling information to people that just did not make sense. And that's funny. Here's what I mean with Kendall Browse and that bullshit he pulled. People went on it, they fed on it, and what you already believed, all it did was make you believe it more, and it fucked up a good program. But what it did was it fucked up his own career almost. See, what you got to realize is that some of these guys, these black guys, white guys too, are anointed. So Tag is a part of the Harbaugh football tree. The Harbaughs are family, like a royalty in both college and in the NFL. It was extremely hard for Harbaugh to, it was extremely hard for Kendall Browse, considering all the other shit he had on his plate, to get another job. Because what Tag did was he took a chance on taking him, and it took a lot of heat. A lot of heat came to the university because of the Baylor rape allegations. And if you notice, his brother-in-law got a job before him that was at UCF. Everybody, the offensive line coach got a job before him. A lot of other people got jobs before Kendall Browse, who was above them. And the only job he got was in Arkansas. And you know what that coach did? he told him to run. He told him how he wanted his offense to be ran. And he also told him, if you keep fucking with me, I'm going to fire your ass, and nobody else wanted to hire you. But that being said, Mike Norvell is not going to Arizona State. Not in my belief. I do not think that will happen. I think that would be career suicide for him. I think right now he's got a good thing going at Florida State. I think he's a good coach. I've always thought that. I think he's a good guy. He just got to win. What I think and what I see are two different things. Think is a hypothesis, right? It should do this. The results have to prove the hypothesis. And right now, they're 3-0 going into 4-0. And I'm probably going to, man, I really want to talk about this, but I got to skip that to go to the Big Three breakdown. So if you go skip the old head state, if you want some good laughter and banter and seeing Petty, I hate DJ Academics. He's light-skinned in every stereotype of the light-skinned thing. He's petty. He's catty. I think he's a hoe, but he has some truth in what he was saying. But LL Cool J, clap back. So going into the Big Three, Florida State has a big game coming up against Boston College. They've got to win this game. So if you could show us what my guy, C-Steph90 on Twitter posted. He posted clips of the Tallahassee Democrat. Somebody came on I'll Be Sure's internet on Twitter and tried to come at me and say I needed to be a better alumni of the university. Because I will admit, and I came out and apologized real good on Monday. I think people like that. Miles, you can't be doing these videos, Miles, and don't post them real quick again. You got the streets wanting that. Like, you did that on Monday, then everybody's like, where's Wednesday stuff? But Wednesday's reels. But I said when Tate Rodemaker threw that interception going into halftime, I made a comment based upon the moment and what I had seen of his behavior leading up to that point. I did not think he had pure intentions for Florida State. I thought he hated the university. It was systematically trying to destroy it. That being said, I'm not the only person who believed this. This young man's own pappy believed that because his pappy was doing the same thing that I was doing. Well, I was doing it a little more deliberately. And shout out to Toby Bullock with Mandarin Mustangs. And whoever parent fucking snitched on me, I'm going to tell coaches that your kid's ass. Just joking. I'm not going to do that. But no, they're serious. Toby comes up, pulls me to the side. It says, hey, man, you can't be saying motherfucker on Twitter while we're playing the game. He's like, I know you were talking about Florida State. I was like, yeah. I said it during the game. He's like, yeah, you said it during the game. I said, damn, you're right. My bad. Don't be snitching on me watching football games while I'm coaching when my running backs are running over almost damn near 300 yards. But Tate Rodemaker's dad was coaching. So the Democrat says, so when Rodemaker finally caved and asked for an update on the game late in Madison County's game at Bogart North, whatever, he was surprised to hear his son, FSU backup quarterback Tate Rodemaker, had just attempted a pass. Here were the three questions that his dad asked. What? So again, when I'm in Tallahassee and somebody comes and says, hey, Trey's in the football game, my first question is not going to be what? My second question is not going to be why? And my third question is, are you sure? Those were the three questions that his own goddamn daddy asked. And y'all getting mad at people like me, but his dad know the game. His dad is a football coach. But good kudos to you for raising a good young man. And this is what he had to say about Coach Norvell. Coach Norvell sent me a nice text, really proud of Tate. I sent him one back saying I would not want him to play for anybody else. He's seen a ton of practices. I've seen the way he handles business. He's all business. He does things the right way. And he's a guy you want your son to play for. That's the kind of dad that I aspire to be like. Mr. Rodemaker, I'm going to try to get a hold of you. I want to shake your hand. I want not like the guy, not like the white guy on the plane. I want to shake your hand. I literally want to say, man, I appreciate as a coach, and I know you're a coach, and as a dad, for you being a realist and also understanding what this sport is supposed to be about. This sport is not participation trophies. This sport is about building young men for things other than sports later on in life. And I appreciate you for that. And the candor. It's hilarious. But it's something that I would clearly do. Tell y'all every day that my son ain't the greatest right now in football. He will be good. He's just learning how to play tackle right now. Boston College, who Florida State plays this week. Head coach Jeff Hafley on FSU quarterback Jordan Travis, who I'm not sure will be playing. Don't know, don't care. All I care about is the victory. He says, I have a ton of respect for him. He's a tough kid, so I wouldn't be surprised if he played this week at all. Much improved. I think he is playing as well as any quarterback in the ACC right now. That is a big step over what everybody was talking about in Big Three Twitter. Everybody told me that he was a quarterback, he was a wide receiver or a running back that threw the ball, including my own good friend, one Dennis Jermaine Thompson. I ain't gonna say Jermaine. I don't think that's it. Tremaine. That sounds better. Dennis Tremaine Thompson said that my dog Jordan Travis wasn't that good, but he did come back and say at fall camp that his quarterback IQ had definitely increased, and a lot of those things were getting better by the moment. Boston College is a little bit hurt, banged up. I don't think Jared Verse is going to play this game. Not sure about Robert Scott. We got Fabian Lovett, neither. So we got some really key pieces that are missing. But I think with that running game that Florida State has, you're going to see a really, really good and dynamic overall approach to the game. I think we win. I think we win by 2 touchdowns. I'm not sure enough to be able to say by the spread. I believe some say it was between 16 and 18 points. I'm not sure we're that good, but if we could be that dominant, I'm really, really liking where we're going as a program. Again, I like Florida State, love Florida State, like what Mike Norvell is doing, and kudos to them. Breaking news. Currently, there are only 3 teams in Division I or Power 5 football in the country, in the world, Craig, that do not have a passing touchdown. 2 of those teams faced off last week. One of those teams is Hawaii, which is ironic because Hawaii's really been known since they kind of came on the scene for tossing the bean around. But Florida and South Florida and Hawaii are the only schools in Division I football who do not have a passing touchdown, with the quarterback that was considered a Heisman Trophy candidate. This week, they play the University of Tennessee. It's going to be very difficult to beat the University of Tennessee without throwing a forward pass. Tennessee is really, really good, much improved under Josh Heupel. They're trending in the right direction. Big recruiting weekend for them. 110,000 people that feel Rocky Top. They get getting some confidence. They get the vibing. They get to singing that Rocky Top. You'll always be home, sweet home to me. They're 10.5-point favorite. College football game days there. It is going to be a very tough challenge for Billy Napier-led Florida Gators. Now, they have beat the only other ranked opponent they played in the Utah Utes. Now, I believe Utah lost that game more than Florida won it, but it doesn't matter. I always tell people when they put those ifs, say if ifs were a fifth, we'd all be drunk. And if my aunt had 2 balls, she'd be my uncle. Those are things that I always like to say. But Tennessee is 3-0. They haven't been this way since 2016. Florida lost to Kentucky. My bad. Florida lost to Kentucky. Was Kentucky ranked? I believe Kentucky might have been ranked with it. My bad. So I'm a little bit wrong with that. But Florida hasn't had a big year, had a big game, just a dominating performance against anybody yet. And what we saw against South Florida really, really kind of leads us to believe that this is not going to be a win for them. This isn't any hate. Tennessee is a tough place to play. If Tennessee is not getting the running game moving, not Tennessee. If Florida doesn't get the running game going with Travis Etienne and Montrell Johnson, I think this is going to be a long night for them. And also, I think their defense, while I do think Cox is really, really good, and I also believe, I can't think of them. The D tackle from Polk County is phenomenal. If they don't get this thing stopped really, really quick, I think this is going to get ugly. And what's going to be sad about all of this, what's really going to be sad is that Miami has talked. No, excuse me, Miami's next. Florida has talked so much shit all offseason. It's going to be. I don't think the fan base is going to be able to handle it. And I think the approach that they have taken with recruiting, with the negative recruiting, I think it's going to come back to bite him in the butt. But I do think Billy Napier, it's the reason why they gave him a 10-year guaranteed contract. I think in the long run, Gervin Dexter, I so disrespect. Gervin Dexter is a motherfucker. And when I say that, that's good. Motherfucker. A lot of times, black culture, I have a lot of white people that listen to me. Black culture, what you think is bad is good. And sometimes, like, you just got to understand the context and where the word's going. But Gervin Dexter is a motherfucker. That boy is dominant. And then that fat dude, the 415-pound guy, like that everybody said that they wasted a scholarship on, man, bitch, if you want to transfer, come on. I will walk you personally through Doak Campbell Stadium. Even though you're a Gator, you're actually pretty explosive for a fat boy. But that's nevertheless. Miami plays Middle Tennessee State University at Miami on the ACC network at 3:30 p.m. I don't know, man. I don't know what you want me to break down with. I don't know. It's Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Miami should win, and I hope you win. If you don't, then you know what? No, I don't. I actually hope you lose. But I'm not gonna put any money. Well, actually, no. Miami's getting 25 and a half. I probably would lay money on that game. It should be 2-1 for the Big Three this weekend. And this is why Miami should win. Go ahead, play that. I want people to understand what Miami fans have to look forward to. And this is the craziest part is that I'm gonna play this and I'm gonna give my opinion on it. Some of it's gonna be good for Miami fans and some of it's not. But go ahead and just the comments from what your quarterback has suggested about the game day atmosphere, what the people who are covering Miami suggest about the game day atmosphere, what probably Akeem Williams, when he commits to Florida State over the University of Miami, is going to say about the game day atmosphere, just doesn't bode well for Miami. Who is this? Is this
Dan
Oh man, I like Dan outside of him being an extreme Miami homer.
Yeah.
But go ahead, push play.
Rational stuff, I'll give it to you. Because of the bullshit that Barstool pulled by just making up a quote that Tyler Van Dyke said. Tyler Van Dyke said, we don't have a college atmosphere. Accurate. We haven't had a college atmosphere ever. We didn't have a college atmosphere when we won 58 straight and sent an NCAA record for home wins. We're not that town. We have a student body of 17,000 kids. That's half the size of FSU. No one nationally knows what a historical outlier Miami is. They don't understand. We are not this college town that's going to have 107,000. If you want to hold on to that banner, I understand. Texas A&M has 107,000 for most of their games, and they haven't won a national title since the 1930s. Miami is a pro program. They play in the best facility in the nation. For FSU and big conference games, they'll get respectable crowds. When they had the best team of all time, they got 30,000 against Temple at the Orange Bowl. We know what Miami is. They split this market support with 4 other teams. It's hard for them. They also cleared the very low bar of having seatbacks at their stadium, so you know exactly how many teal seats are empty over there. I saw Louisville's crowd. I've seen FSU's crowd over the last few years. I've seen Gainesville crowds when that program is down bad. I see USC crowds that still, when they're cooking, get 45,000 to their games. It's fine. Miami is what it is. It's never going to sell that place out. To expect them to sell that place out when they really should be playing in a stadium that has 40,000 maybe is absurd. But you want the...
Can you play with... Let me read the tweet, because the tweet has some more, even more goodies in that bad boy that I just think is... I'm going to be honest with you, I think it's all bullshit, what they're implying. Canes don't have a college atmosphere. This is from Mike, I guess John Ruiz's son. Canes don't have a college atmosphere. Agreed. College atmosphere is immense, but it's also immense for schools that need and capitalize that as a selling point. Miami has tradition, a talent-rich recruiting base, in the city of Miami. It's never going to be marching bands, bonfires, and whatever the fuck that is. So let's just break down this tweet. Miami has tradition. They do. So does Florida. So does Florida State. So does Oklahoma. So does Nebraska. So does Alabama. So does Texas. So does Oklahoma. So does USC. So there's a shit ton of other schools that have tradition. The only people who think Miami has more tradition than anybody else is Miami fans. I told a Miami fan this. I've told Miami players. I've told Big Leon seriously does radio here in Jacksonville. I know him. I know a couple good Miami players real personally, and I talk to him a lot. You got to realize this, man. Everybody has that. You're not in the 80s anymore. So when Miami blew up, right? Miami blew up the same time the movie Scarface became a cult classic, the same time Griselda Blanco was making millions. Matter of fact, Miami in the 80s was such an outlier, as he said, that it was the only city in the United States, not the state, but everywhere else was reeling from a nationwide recession. But there was so much cocaine in the city of Miami and so much money made that they didn't even feel it. That's when the University of Miami blew up. Around that same time, Miami is a very talent-rich area, but people leave all the time to go to Miami. Let me go to other schools. The state of Florida is a hotbed for a reason. So not having the college atmosphere is one of the big reasons you go to college. Everybody who's been to college talks about going to their freshman dorms. They talk about going to games. They talk about a lot of things that you got to get. Now, the University of Miami is a top-notch education for a normal student. Most of the normal students go to the University of Miami, not for football. What happened is Miami was a city that had a college that was literally named after the city, and it was in some cool-ass gear that they were able to embody. And that's what happened. It's literally not what you think. And as a college, and you're selling the city, what are you selling? I can't do 90% of the stuff like that in the city for if you're poor or if you're under the age of 21. It's the truth. South Beach is weird. You want to get robbed? Hell, you get off the wrong exit headed toward Coral Gables and you're in the hood. There are a lot of things I like about the city of Miami. I love to visit it, but it's not a great place to live if you're being 100% honest with yourself. I mean, again, all of the things that you're trying to make people believe, I truly, truly hope you believe that. And that's all I got to say to you about that. But I think you'll beat Middle Tennessee State. And the other part of it, y'all stop that. One thing I remember vividly. I remember Miami. I went on a visit to Miami. It was sold out. This was in the 2000s. I played against Miami. Every time I played in Miami, it was sold out. When it was in the Orange Bowl. You can sell that. That when Tag, last time I went to a Miami game, we played at Miami when Tag was here. That game was sold out or damn near sold out. You can sell a game out. It's just you have fair weather fans. And that's what you need to tell the truth about. All of our fans are fair weather for the most part. But we're going to at least have 50,000 at a Doak in Doak at all times. So you just got to be honest with yourself. So again, now moving on from that, we should go 2-1 in the Big Three. And that should be dope. But here's where it gets wild. And this is why I say coaches being messy. And y'all got to stop fucking black coaches, what I was saying earlier. The Boston Celtics. Actually, before I get into that. Actually, no, I'll say this, but I'll say this part. The Boston Celtics have done the most petty shit that you could possibly do. And trying to get rid of a coach. If you want to fire the man, fire the man. But you leak this information that your head coach is having an affair or your head coach is being suspended for having a consensual relationship with someone else on staff. Your head coach who took you to the finals, who went up against the evil light-skinned Empire, and probably should have won because they were up 2-1. But then they didn't have the experience. You can't tell me that this is just about a man fornicating and having sex with a woman. David is a man after God's own heart. He had 5 wives and 3 concubines. One of those wives was Bathsheba. She was married to somebody else. And even God let him continue to lead the kingdom of Israel. Now, there's a lot of things. This thing is getting more press than Brett Favre stealing from poor people in Mississippi. I ain't going to ever let that shit go. I'm going to say that every time I get a chance. That's funny. I believe it. This coach is more famous right now for being Nia Long's, the beautiful black woman, long-term boyfriend. And that's basically what it is. So if you can go from the beginning, Miles, it's just a really wild set of circumstances because it was like the original tweet was at 12:50 a.m. late at night. Most people were asleep. Celtics coach, I don't even know how to say his name, had an improper, intimate, and consensual relationship with a female member of the team staff. It's been deemed a violation of the franchise code of conduct. 5. Everybody has no fraternization rules. It's even in the military. Most people, you get a fine, slap on the wrist. They gave this man a full season suspension. For context, this man got the same length of time as the Suns owner got for being racist. Now, people might want to say they gave him the same suspension for being racist for a year, so that gives him time to sell the team. Fine. You could have slapped it indefinitely on him. Where is it written that I need my coach to be a model citizen? I don't give a damn who he's fucking or who's fucking him. What I care about is, can he take me to the finals? That's what I care about. Did he do anything illegal? That's what I care about. It takes two to tango. That woman had to say yes to him, and that man is not married. That man is he's engaged to Nia Long from what we know. But Nia Long says she has no intentions of being married. So what I see is, and I see women all the day, every day say, I'm single until I'm not. So that's why I'm choosing to believe that about this man. Now, with this leak, what happened was they immediately did a few things happen. They immediately went and looked at the finest person on their staff. Probably the only black woman, I'm not 1,000% sure. Her name is Allison Feaster. Allison Feaster played in the WNBA. She went to Harvard. She's bright-skinned. I don't even like bright-skinned women, but I don't know. They're saying, and she's happily married from, they say, has a 16-year-old daughter. But I ain't gonna lie, man. Is it showing? Oh, because I don't care. You can keep it on mute because nobody gives a damn for what this player is saying. But the lady in the green is who the original person was that they said that he cheated on. For those who are listening, she got this green dress with them like almost sundress. When she turned, she got a wagon behind her. She's fit. That thing is thanging, and it comes mid-thigh. Honest to God's truth, I don't want my woman dressing like that around in a masculine environment. That's just me. I'm not that secure. But that woman is pretty. I'm sorry. And then what's funny is just some of her IG quotes and captions. She really believes in the vision of the head coach. So it kind of like comes off like you can read into those things, but they're saying it's not her. So what happened was the way that the Boston Celtics did this was so irresponsible that it just didn't dead the career of a coach that was really good. You brought heat on a woman that didn't even deserve this. A woman who didn't ask for this attention. Now her husband has to look at her sideways now. And she had a lot of explaining to do. And there is nothing worse than as a man, I tell people this all the time. There's nothing worse than having to apologize for pussy that you ain't getting. She got to apologize for not doing anything because of the looks. The only thing she's done is be pretty. So what did they do? So what do the Boston Celtics do? They say, you know what? We got to fix this problem. We got to suspend him. So what we're going to do is we're going to promote assistant coach Joe Mazzulla is likely to become Boston's interim coach for the season, since their current coach is facing that. So what is Joe Mazzulla? So what we're going to do, we're going to take a guy who just fornicated with a woman, and we're going to promote a guy who cited for public urination in 2010 and who also was charged with domestic violence in 2009. I know how we're going to make this situation better. We're going to hire a woman beater. Whether it was alleged, whether he did it or not, this is what's there. This is what you can find out. Boston is figuring out how to, this is how you fuck up a really good situation and make it a public relations nightmare. Unless the Celtics planned on firing this young man, there is no reason we need to know any of this stuff. Why do I need to know that this man had an extramarital affair? He's not the first person to ever do this. We had a president who got some head from an ugly woman. For whatever reason, and you could go ahead and put that MLK thing up, Miles. This is white people that do this shit. This is how I feel right now. And I'm using this as a generality. It's not all of them. It's the morality police. I don't need my coaches, my sports figures to be moral. So go ahead. This is the wildest thing in the world to me. This is what it's really coming down to. This is what you need to step back and listen to MLK.
Demonstrated eloquently that they don't have no sense.
Play it again. Say it again.
And a lot of white folk have demonstrated eloquently that they don't have no sense.
Who I put
and
my
a lot
penis
of white folk
in
have
does not demonstrate how well I do my job. If you're going to fire me, fire me. But what does this prove that I did not do what you hired me to do? You can delete that, Miles. You don't have to show that one. It's just all you're doing is you're not just besmirching his character. You're really causing a lot of rain down to some other stuff. And even with this, how do we even know him and Nia Long? Let me explain life to you guys from the entertainment world. Entertainers have different relationships. A lot of people try to understand the world from their construct. Damn it, this is brought to you by Green Acres Sporting Goods. I apologize to y'all. Green Acres Sporting Goods, the go-to. Matter of fact, when you do stuff, Green Acres Sporting Goods is not the place to go to when you found out that if you're Allison Feaster's husband, don't go to Green Acres Sporting Goods right now. Chill out for a second. Let everything smooth over. Go get your ARs. Go get your 9mm. Go get all the different things that are associated with outdoor life. Bows and arrows, crossbows, coolers, safes. Go get your concealed to carry permit. It's important. Everybody talks about 2A. Exercise your 2A right. No better place than what Z and those guys. Can't wait for the world to understand how cool Green Acres Sporting Goods is. Damn, that means Green Acres Sporting Goods is going to be known in Australia. That means Goodfellas Cigar. Oh, man. We taking the human cigars are. Can they ship to Australia? Can y'all ship cigars or is it just the continental U.S.? We'll find that shit out later. We'll worry about that anyways. But Green Acres Sporting Goods, them my guys. Let's go there. Miles, we got to do some. I got to buy guns next month. We're going to go do some real cool video next month. But explain me. So everybody talks about what I'm going to do if I had $1 billion, this is what I would do. No, you wouldn't. No, you would. You've never been in if you've never been in a situation where you have to pay taxes, shut the fuck up when it comes to fiscal stuff. And I don't mean that disrespectfully. I just mean you don't know. You're implying what you would do. You're putting your goodwill on what you would do. But the reality of the situation is you wouldn't. You don't know. You've never been in that world. You're trying to understand $1 million situations on a $30,000 budget. It's the same concept when it comes to relationships. Nia Long is gorgeous. And I'm here to tell you, not all pretty women are a catch sexually. There are pretty women with piss poor pussy. You know why? Because they're pretty. They haven't had to do anything. They haven't been forced. You know who fucks really, really good? Mid. Kevin Samuels was the truth. I mean, telling the truth, dog. Like, a lot of y'all don't want to hear this, but like, it ain't nothing more than a woman that's trying to prove herself to you. Same thing with a woman to a man. A lot of pretty women don't want to get down and dirty. There are a lot of y'all that do. I ain't gonna lie to you. It's very difficult. But the other part of it is, I want you guys to realize what's happening in life. Halle Berry's been married like 5-6 times. Janet Jackson can't keep a man. Beyonce got cheated on by Jay-Z. Rihanna's been cheated on. A lot more beautiful women in this world have been cheated on. A lot of gorgeous men and wealthy men have been cheated on. People are going to cheat. You don't need to understand. Everybody, people who say, but that's Nia Long, that lets me know you've never had a beautiful woman in your life. And the other part of it is I want you to understand what it sounds like when you say that. Oh, if I had, I have married men say, man, if I had Nia Long, I wouldn't cheat. So you are saying your wife is ugly. Like, you're just really just admitting, like, well, you know, no, what happens is when you're in the top 1% of the population, 99% of the population is your oyster. That man is one of 29 other individuals that coach in the National Basketball Association. He is on the road all the time. He is literally seen by everybody. He is a celebrity. Celebrities are accosted and always in front. And the one thing we all joke about in social media is work husbands and work wives. So obviously he has a work wife. If it's Alison Feaster, kudos, that bitch fine. If it's not, whatever. I've seen some of y'all work wives and work husbands. They're broke and ugly. So chill out on your judgment. And stop trying to say because it's Nia Long and because we like her as an icon. He didn't cheat on Nia Long when there was two genders. Like, you know, back in the day. He didn't cheat on Friday Nia Long. He cheated on 52-year-old Nia Long. Long in the tooth Nia Long. Who's still bad. She's got a little bit of baggage to her. I call cougars and old women vintage vehicles. They've been driven a little bit, so you know it works. They're sturdy, but you know it's like a vintage Rolls Royce, but it got a dent in it. That's kind of what the situation is, man, and it's unfortunate. But a lot of y'all got to really stop doing this. But here's the crazy part: in our world manages to make so many things like a bigger deal than what it needs to be. Why is what this man did in the privacy of behind closed doors that hurt nobody but the two people a bigger deal than the Phoenix Suns owner? Why is this a bigger deal than stealing money from millions of people? Why has the Boston Celtics issued that they're taking such a hard stance on this guy? And why is this man issuing a public apology before Brett Favre is saying that he's sorry for stealing money? Why do we care? I'm only talking about it because it's news. But people cheat on people. It's been like that since before I got here. It's been like that since the Bible. And Jenny Buss was fucking Phil Jackson. It's crazy when you really sit back and you think about it. Because the key term was this: consensual. Now, if you raped her, throw his ass in jail. Don't just fire him, throw his ass in jail. But consensual sex is I don't see any problems with that. But one of our greatest poets or philosophers, if you will, in this generation, I follow him. I love his thought process. And that's Little Duval. Little Duval has something that's very poignant. And I want people to understand this because it's basically what the late, great Kevin Samuels and Andrew Tates of the world and a lot of people are trying to explain to people. He said, I bet a stack that Nia Long ain't going nowhere. See, a lot of people believe that and they're right. She can go get most of the men. Women don't tend to go down. Men can go down because men don't care, nor do they value the things that most women value. I had a friend, or a friend, or a follower, I should say, on Twitter post, I can't believe he cheated with a chick that makes $70,000. I have a lot of friends who make a lot of money, a lot of who more than me, and I've never been with a woman and asked her how much money she made.
Yeah, what that? That's so weird.
Most men don't care about that. That's a woman thing. You know what I care about? Can you take care of yourself? Are you going to be a burden? Like, if I'm with you, are you going to be asking me for $40 every 5 days, every few days? Like, because then you become an employee. Like, so now you fire and you hire employees. I hate people, you can get mad at me all the time, but like I see women all the time. What a bag at? I say you do not really crave to have a transactional relationship in which you think, because like people like me command high customer service. So like if the pussy's trash, then I'm going to ask for my money back, or I'm going to stop giving these things, this reciprocation. What you want is you want your level of independence and you want this thing. But the things like to be honest with you, the three things that men kind of require, at the end of the day, we can go buy that. People say, I give them sex, cook, and clean. You can buy sex, you can buy a chef, and you can buy a maid. So I think too much has been made on those three things, and we call it the feminine stuff, but like there has to be more. And to quote Patrice O'Neal, like, what have you ever done to make me love you? I made you love me. I had to be witty. I had to be funny. I have the money. I have to have all these different things. So like all those things make a man attractive to anybody, and he could go down knowing that he can always go back up. The problem is when women go down, they complain. And then this is what men don't do. They don't complain about the choices that they make. Women are the ones who will go date a Jody, who sleep on your couch all day, drive your car. But like Nia knows that a Jody is more likely what she's looking at in comparison to him. Like, I don't mean like she's gonna get a trash dude, but like he's the head coach of the Boston Celtics. And all he did, and she's in this world, she knows Cube, she knows a bunch of men who cheated. She's probably cheated, and again, what we don't know is the nature of their relationship. Right. She doesn't want to be married for a reason. That's what I want people to understand. This isn't made up. Nia Long has made a statement that she doesn't want to be married. It could be this. It could be that she wants to keep her options open. I don't care. I actually think less and less people should be married. I think the problem is we've been fed this monogamy farce, and we try to and I don't believe in what monogamy really is. Actually, I had an OG talk to me about this. Monogamy can start and stop. Like, it's not like forever. And like monogamy can mean what you want it to mean. But we want to believe that, happily ever after means one man, one woman, without realizing that most of our big daddies, our granddaddies, had a family on the other side of town. Most of our moms have kids that are light skinned if you're black. And what did they used to say? The milkman's kid. But you know what they did? They stayed together because as Crypto Baron, I think that's Bart, but my bad. I always say it wrong. Krypton, I always say it wrong. My man right here. Always listen. I really appreciate you, by the way. Hey, don't nobody else listen to me? I know he's gonna be on too. Marriage is a business transaction. Relationships in general that are lasting, that are going to do, are business transactions. How do you benefit the person long term? And everybody loves to say when a man cheats, it's always the man's fault, which whatever, I don't believe it. I don't care what you believe. But everybody says you got to be more disciplined with sex, right? You shouldn't, like, it's just sex. You shouldn't do this, blah, blah, blah. If it's just sex, why do people leave when they get cheated on? Obviously, sex is a big part of that. So if you're with somebody that needs to have a lot of sex, you need to make sure you can match that needs to have a lot of sex energy. Or you're going to find yourself, like a lot of very pretty women do, not in a relationship. Or realize the statistics. Again, I hate being like this. I'm not Kevin Samuels. I'm not an Andrew Tate, but I am a statistics guy. A lot of women want men who make over $50,000 a year. That means you're in the 30% of all African Americans. If you make over $50,000, if you make over $250,000, you are in the top 10% of Americans. If you're a millionaire, you're in the 1%. There's a lot of competition that goes on. Everybody wants the more money you make, the better you dress, the better your status, the more appealing you are. I think Jamie Foxx said it better. Jamie Foxx said God would not let somebody be a gorgeous billionaire. He said it's not fair. It's just not fair. He's like, you're a billionaire, but you can't be fine. Then you'll have everything. The point I'm saying in all of this is that what is the most valuable thing to you? If they weren't, I always tell people, if she wasn't a virgin or he wasn't a virgin when you met them, why does it hurt so bad? You forgot all of the past dicks or vaginas that were there before. Why can't you forget this one? If that person is truly means something to you and you guys are good and you don't feel like you own that person. I think some of this stuff just we need to reevaluate the way that we view relationships. And if we do that, I think life will be a lot better. Hold on. That's just my point. That's my opinion. I appreciate you guys coming up. Great news. Check out Freddie's movie. We want to make sure that we have we want it to be well attended. We're going to have a lot of student athletes there. We're going to have there's $40 for a VIP ticket. It's $10 for general admission. We would love to have as many people show up and fill that place as possible. We want to make sure you come to the tailgate, and I'm raising money for tickets. So we have 100 tickets. The tickets, let's just say each game, we got about $30. We need $30 per ticket. So we had 100 tickets this game. We have 100 tickets for Wake Forest game. We are currently raising money for that. So if you would love $MFTK36 on Cash App, MFTK Foundation on Venmo, MFTK Foundation at gmail.com if you want to participate through PayPal. I appreciate you guys. Thank y'all for chopping it up with me. We'll see you guys next week.